Right, in this video I'm going to be showing you guys a complete 100% beginner guide on how to wheelie. I'm going to be showing you every single tip, trick, and secret I know to get you guys hitting proper balance point wheelies as if you had zero experience. If you guys saw the last video with Supermoto where I taught him to wheelie in one day, he already had a decent amount of experience on the bike, and I got so many requests to go ahead and teach you guys a complete baseline beginner guide of all the small details that you need as a beginner that I did not show him. And by the way, I really do appreciate the support on that last video. And currently guys, I am at 8,800 subscribers. I'm trying to hit 10,000 by the end of summer. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you guys do drop a subscribe down below. And of course, let's get into this wheelie tutorial. All right guys, so this is gonna be a full tutorial to literally wheelie any motorcycle as a beginner. I'm gonna teach you how to take your wheelies from looking like this to this. Hopefully in the shortest amount of time possible and safely. Now the bike that I'm going to be riding for this tutorial is my CRF 450 Supermoto here. So this tutorial will work on any motocross, any dirt bike style platform, any Supermoto, pretty much any motorcycle, guys. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news here, but you can literally wheelie any motorcycle from a 50cc moped to a big ass Harley. It literally all comes down to rider technique and rider skill. It is not your bike, trust me. I remember whenever I learned how to wheelie, I struggled really bad on my 450 and started to think it was the bike, which is a crazy statement to make because it is a 450 and these things are wheelie machines. And when I learned how to wheelie, I didn't have a single good video to watch or anybody to teach me in person. So it took me a really long time and I learned a lot of bad habits. But in this video, I'm gonna show you guys all the best habits so you start learning wheelies the right way right off the bat. So honestly, when it comes to doing wheelies, one of the hardest things to get over is your mind, that mental block. The actual technique itself isn't necessarily all that groundbreaking or hard. 99% of this stuff comes down to your head. You're just scared to take the bike up, you're scared to fall, you're scared to trash your bike, and I understand, we've all been there. I still have that feeling when I'm going for harder and harder tricks, because it is truly scary. But the technique that I'm about to teach you guys right now should help you overcome that mental block, because it's going to keep you very, very safe and very, very controlled when learning a wheelie. So watch this video as many times as you need to, because truly, if you do every technique that I show you and you follow this video step by step, I know that you guys can be hitting balance point wheelies very fast. And also guys, after you finish watching this video, if there's any other stunts or tricks that are in my wheelhouse that I know how to do, or anything else about a bike, or anything else that you want me to make a video about or a full tutorial about, let me know down below. Alright guys, step one, before we even get you popping the wheel up, we have to make sure that your body position and your full technique and setup on the bike is right. So step one, we're going to go over your seating position here. A lot of guys, when they ride their MX bikes or any motorcycle, you know, you kind of sit in a relaxed position somewhere in the middle of the seat, and you do not want to do that on a wheelie. You want most of your body weight as far back over the rear axle as you can get it. Now every bike's going to be a little bit different for this, like I said, but for these MX style bikes, you're going to want to scoot to the back of your seat like this. Now I'm not talking the whole way back like you're sitting on the fender like this, but if you sit in the middle, just give it a nice little bump back like that. As for your arms, you want to be nice and relaxed, gripping the handlebars nice and light so that you can be nice and precise on your throttle, in your clutch, and all your other controls. Now when it comes to your feet, you're going to have one foot over your rear brake and one foot on your shifter side, obviously. With your rear brake side here, because the rear brake is very important during wheelies, we're going to go over that. What you're going to do is take this little bit of slop out of your rear brake. If you see that little bit of movement there on your rear brake, that's actually not engaging my brake yet. That's just a little bit of extra play. So you want to rest your foot on there just to take the little bit of extra play out without engaging your brake. And then with your shifter side here, it's very important on these MX style bikes that don't have a back kind of seat rest. You know how some sport bikes, they have like the dip for your back, or like a Harley or something like that. With these MX style bikes, you have a very flat seat, so you don't have any way to secure yourself to the bike. So it's very important on these style bikes to lock yourself into the bike. So I'm going to teach you 2 ways to lock yourself into the bike. The most common way to lock yourself in the bike is called shift locking. What you're going to do is, say you want to do it in second gear or third gear or whatever gear you're going to do your wheelie in, you're going to shift up into that gear and hold the shifter up with your foot. So for reference, the bike is in first gear. I want to do a second gear wheelie. I'm going to shift up into second and hold it there with my foot. Now that is absolutely not going to allow the bike to shift, no matter if I'm on and off the throttle. It's not going to do anything weird with the bike, shift the bike, make the bike jerk around, or nothing. All that is going to do is lock yourself into the bike. My foot is locked underneath the shifter. And what that's going to allow me to do is, if I'm shift locked here, I can put all of the weight of the wheelie on my leg and into the seat. That is how you want it. A lot of people, when they start learning wheelies, they hang from the bars. You do not want to hang from the bars. You want to be nice and light on the bars, nice and gentle on the bars. Because if you hang from the bars, for one, you're not going to be able to be as precise on your throttle. And two, little movements in the bars can actually make your bike steer in a wheelie, and that is not what you want unless you're trying to purposely take a corner. The second way to shift lock, and you'll see this a lot on like the electric bikes, or if somebody's doing a low gear wheelie, like first gear, because obviously you cannot shift lock, is tuck your foot underneath the foot peg. Now you're not actually going to go underneath the foot peg here because the foot peg folds. You're going to kind of go at an angle and kind of wedge it underneath the foot peg base. You can do whatever way feels comfortable to you. Now what I want you guys to practice is prepping for the wheelie. I want you to totally prep yourself. So what I'm doing is I'm rolling in first gear here. I'm going to prep for a second gear wheelie. So I'm going to shift lock, move to the back of my seat, take pressure on my brake, and be light on the bars. So I want you guys to keep practicing that, keep practicing the shift lock or the under the foot peg, whatever one feels more comfortable to you. Everybody's gonna be a little bit different. So just ride around normally like you would, shift lock, slide to the back of your seat, a little bit of brake pressure. Get back in normal. Shift lock, a little bit of brake pressure, back of your seat. Now guys, when you are learning, depending on what bike you're on, you're gonna wanna start in a low gear. We wanna be able to do as slow wheelies as possible because those are going to be the safest and the most controlled, and it's going to teach you all the fundamentals, because once you have all the fundamentals figured out, that's when you can go out and start ripping third, fourth gear wheelies and looking cool. For right now, we're just trying to learn the basics, get the technique down before we go out and show off. Alright guys, so you have the shift lock, you have a little bit of brake pressure, taking the slop out, moving to the back of your seat. Now we're going to get into popping the wheel off the ground. And guys, before you even start trying to pop the wheel up, it's very, very important that you get your brakes and your bike warmed up. So wherever you guys are practicing, ride around a little bit, get your bike up to temperature, and ride around with your foot brake engaged a few times just to get some heat in the brake pads and the rotor. You absolutely do not want to do a wheelie and your brakes aren't warmed up yet, because it will not set you down. Now before I teach you how to properly pop it up with a clutch, what I want you to do is ride around and be smooth on the throttle and gently give it a little bit of throttle. So what you're going to do is ride like normal, get in your wheelie position, shift lock, a little bit of brake, slide to the back of your seat, and just give it a little blip of gas. Just like that. Okay? Nothing crazy. Don't whiskey throttle it. Don't be crazy. Just get used to how the bike feels coming off the ground. So I want you to ride around and do that as many times as you need to. Just like that, just on and off the gas. You don't have to use your rear brake or anything right now. You're not trying to take this bike to balance point. You're just getting used to the front wheel coming off the ground. All right, after you did 10, 25, 50, 100, tiny little throttle ups, and you know what the bike's going to do when it comes off the air, now it's time to advance. So now we're going to get into just a hair bit of brake control. So now what I want you guys to do is do the exact same thing. Once you throttle up, let off the gas and tap your rear brake. So just like this. Rear brake. Throttle, rear brake. Throttle, rear brake. I want you guys to do that a lot. You need to get in the habit of using the rear brake. The rear brake is going to set the bike down when you go back too far. All right, guys, by now you should be comfortable with the shift locked, comfortable on your brake just a little bit. You don't have to be perfect on it yet, and comfortable with your total body position. Now we're going to get into the proper way to actually bring the wheelie up, which is clutching it up. I'm going to show you what one looks like real quick, and then I'll teach you how to do it. This is a clutch up. I use the clutch to pop the bike up fast, and that's what you want. So essentially how you're going to do a clutch up is, you're going to get in your wheelie position, stay steady on the gas, just like this, steady on the gas. All I'm going to do, as I'm steady on the gas, pull the clutch in, a little blip of gas, off the clutch. But I'm gonna do it very fast. So this is essentially how it's gonna look right here. Steady gas, I'm gonna do clutch in, gas out, so just like this. Just like that. You wanna get very, very comfortable doing clutch ups. Do as many of these as you need. You're not focusing on the height or the distance of the wheelie right now. I just want you to learn these clutch ups. Just for reference, I'm rolling around in second gear, guys, on my 450. First gear on this bike is way too touchy, I think, to learn how to wheelie in. And you don't want to learn too fast here, but you also don't want to be going too slow. We want a nice, good, smooth pace. All right, guys, hopefully by now you are dialed in on your clutch ups. And if you are dialed in on clutching the bike up, now we're going to incorporate the rear brake. So what I want you guys to do is start doing the clutch ups and just hitting the rear brake like before, just like this. Rear brake. Clutch up, rear brake. Clutch up, rear brake. So this is going to feel a little bit violent as you're learning, and I want you to understand that once you get better and actually start bringing the bike up to balance point, it gets a lot less violent. The bike's a lot smoother. So just this beginning learning phase where you're not bringing the bike up too high, it's going to feel violent on the rear brake, violent on the clutch. But as you start taking the bike higher, everything's going to get a lot smoother for you. All right, guys, so hopefully by now you can clutch the bike up and you can use your rear brake decently good. You don't have to be perfect on the rear brake at the moment because I'm going to teach you another brake technique that should help you totally lock into the brake here soon. But first we have to talk about the front wheel, because the faster the front wheel's spinning, the easier it's going to be to wheelie. Now that doesn't mean you should go out and pop 5th gear wheelies because it'll be easier. That is absolutely not what I mean. I'm doing these in 2nd gear, and what I mean by that is if the front wheel continues to spin, your wheelie is going to be extremely balanced side to side. As soon as the front wheel stops spinning, your wheelie is going to get very unbalanced, and you're going to be able to notice the difference. And that is because of the gyroscopic force that comes off the wheel. So that's why you'll see me rolling at a decent pace, nothing too fast, nothing too slow, just to keep that front wheel spinning. And next I'm going to teach you about looking down the fork tubes, because it's finally time to start rocking the bike up to balance point, because you know everything else. So what I want you guys to do when you do your wheelie, you're going to do everything I just taught you, but do not lean forward in the wheelie. Right? You do not want your head up by the bars like this. You want to lean back and relax. Don't lock your arms, but just keep your arms nice and relaxed, nice and light on the handlebars. And you're going to pivot with the bike as it comes up. So you're going to completely move with the bike as it comes up. And as you do that, I want you to move your head over to either the left or the right side, whatever side feels better to you, and stare down your fork tubes. And as you're looking down your fork tubes, look out in front of you. Look at the horizon out in front of you while keeping an eye on your fork tubes. Because if your fork tubes are angled at the ground, you need to give the bike a little bit more gas. But also, while the fork tubes are angled at the ground, you're going to be gaining speed. You're going to be chasing the wheelie. While the fork tubes are level with the ground, you're going to maintain the same speed, and you're essentially going to be at balance point. And when the forks are angled up at the sky, you're going to be slowing down and you're going to be dropping past balance point, or true balance point. And what true balance point is, that's when you can completely let off the throttle and just allow the bike to glide. So now what I want you guys to do is roll up like you normally would, lock into the bike with your shift lock, put a little bit of pressure on the rear brake, slide back on the seat, get a nice little moderate pace like this. You're gonna clutch it up and look down your fork tubes. Clutch it up, look to the left, down your fork tubes. Just like that, just look down your fork tubes. Okay, and as you saw there, I was chasing the wheelie. I was gaining speed, but I could see where I was going, and I could also see my fork tubes. And because I could see my fork tubes were pointed at the ground, I knew I had to give the bike more gas. But before we get to that, now is the time to learn your brake. So what I want you to do is do the exact same thing, and as you're kind of chasing the wheelie out slowly, I want you to start feathering your rear brake. Not hitting it, I mean gently feathering it. Now for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to switch to my handbrake, which is right here. You absolutely do not need this to wheelie, and I'm only going to be using this just so you guys can hopefully see how I modulate my rear brake, because I know you can't see down there. Okay, so roll up moderate pace, go below balance point, just like that. I just want you to pump your rear brake, okay? I want you to feather your rear brake. And all you're essentially doing is figuring out how your rear brake works, how it's going to feel in a wheelie, etc. and do a whole bunch of these guys. Get used to how your rear brake feels while actually bringing the bike a little higher. So I'm just feathering my rear brake, getting used to how the brake feels. Now when it comes to chasing the wheelie like that, I do not want you doing that for a long period of time. As you can see, I'm in a very short area. You do not want to chase this wheelie out and gain a ton of speed. All right guys, hopefully by now you are feeling pretty good with feathering the rear brake and kind of bringing the bike a little higher. So now it's time to be smooth, get over your fear, and actually start bringing that bike up. Now you have to be very, very smooth on your throttle. I don't want any choppiness around here. That choppiness stuff is what will loop you out. And you can start doing that type of stuff whenever you get good at wheelies and you want to get fancy, have a little style. But when you're a beginner, be extremely, extremely smooth on this throttle. And this is essentially what I want you to do right here. You're going to lock in, get your rear brake, move to the back. You're going to clutch up, look down your fork tubes, which are going to be pointed at the ground. And I want you to slowly lean into your throttle as you're gently feathering your brake, and bring the fork tubes level with the ground. Completely level with the ground. You will know if you're fully there if the bike stays the same speed. And you do not want to chase the wheelie and try to bring this up later on, because it's going to be scarier and dangerous. You want to try to bring this up as fast as you can, and as gently and as controlled without looping out, just like this. As you can see, the bike stayed the exact same speed. It was very controlled. Now, I don't want you to get discouraged, because it will take a little bit to get to this point. But if you can get over that mental block in your head, you can do this very fast. Now at this point, whenever you can actually start bringing your forks level with the ground, this is the point when you can start riding a wheelie for a very long time. And while you're up there at balance point, it's okay to feather your brake a little bit like that, because you're never going to get this using 100% throttle control. So you might have to feather your brake just to correct it just a little bit. And that is exactly what you're looking for right there. Nice, smooth, controlled, straight to balance point. Now, once you guys have balance point wheelies like that, it's time to actually move up in the world and do the next scary task, which is learning how to properly use your engine brake and start to drop the bike back, and not have to rely on your foot brake as much, and actually get a little bit of style on the bike and do it properly so that you can wheelie for miles. Now, of course, guys, we're not going to forget any of our techniques. You're going to keep doing all the same exact techniques you've been doing, but now you're going to bring the forks level to the ground, and you're going to give the bike just a little bit more gas and let the forks go to the sky a little bit and completely let off the gas. And you're going to rely on the engine brake here and your foot brake to feather it. So it should look like this. See, on balance point, a little bit more gas, engine brake. So that's like true balance point right there. I'm barely on the foot brake. Pretty much didn't touch it at all, just gently feathering it, and I was using no gas and allowing the engine brake of the bike to pull me down. So we're gonna do another one here. So I'm gonna clutch up. I'm riding balance point right now, feathering my foot brake, a little bit more gas, off the gas, engine brake. So essentially when it comes to ripping really long controlled wheelies, that's what you're going to do. It's completely like a seesaw teetering game of a little bit of gas, bringing it up past balance point, letting off, engine brake. I'm gonna say engine brake and foot brake combo, and then you're gonna bring it down, back on the throttle, rock it back, engine brake, brake, bring it back down, throttle. So you're literally going to be teetering like this in a longer span of things. But that's essentially how you're going to control the bike for long periods of time. Now, most of the time, that engine brake alone will allow you to bring the bike down, but it's always good to be prepared on your foot brake, because sometimes that engine brake will go, oh, and set the bike down, but sometimes it'll go, oh, and the bike will start to drop back. And that's when you absolutely do not want to panic and you want to use your foot brake. I know when you're first learning to wheelie, you're so locked in, you're so focused, you're not using your head a lot, like a lot of thoughts aren't running through there. But if you can actually just take a second and wheelie in slow-mo and think with your head, hit the brake, hit the brake, hit the brake, trust me, it'll make it a lot easier. So we're going to do another one here. Clutch up, balance point, engine brake, back on gas, engine brake, a little bit of foot brake. So I'm going to do a few more of these guys so that you can see the technique here. We're going to do a little bit longer ones if I can. and I'm going to try to explain everything I'm doing. So clutch up, balance point, engine brake, gas, engine brake. Now I want you guys to remember, whenever I say engine brake, I'm completely off the gas, allowing the bike to pull the wheelie back down, as well as feathering my foot brake. It's going to be a combination of the both. And that's why I'm trying to use my hand brake, so hopefully you guys can actually watch my brake technique a little bit better. So we're going to do another one here. Balance point, engine brake. Balance point, engine brake. Gas. Just like that. But the whole time, as you can see, I'm smooth on the throttle, smooth on the brake, I'm leaning back, and I'm being relaxed on the bike. You absolutely do not want to be completely tensed up on the bike. Just for an example, I'm going to show you what it looks like to be tensed and pulled close to the bars when you do a wheelie. You do not want to be like this. You can already see how much more uncontrolled the bike was there. I was gaining speed. I was a little bit twitchier on the gas, twitchier on the brake. You want to be relaxed, guys. Just chill. Just chill and relax. And I know that's going to be scary, but at the end of the day, seat time and practice will allow you to be relaxed on the bike. So we're going to do another one. Clutch up, balance point, engine brake. Gas, engine brake. Gas, engine brake. I'm just pretty much sitting there teetering balance point, going below and back, below and back, below and back. And depending on what you want to do, depending on the stunt you're going to do or the type of wheelie you're doing or the environment, like I said, there's no problem just straight up holding a balance point wheelie like this. No problem at all doing that. Alright guys, well I truly hope that this tutorial helped. I hope I covered everything possible that I could in terms of being a beginner and learning how to wheelie. And if you guys would like a part 2, where I can teach you guys how to start shifting and changing gears in a wheelie, turning in a wheelie, like taking turns, start dropping back, maybe how to do a little clutch work, like learning coasters and etc. Just let me know, guys, and I can definitely make a part 2. And let me know if you try any of these tips down below, and if they help you at all. So like I said, guys, I've been wheeling for a long time, and I learned the complete hard way, the backwards way, the wrong way off the start, and that completely ruined me. So I'm hoping by you guys watching this tutorial that you guys can learn the right, proper technique from the get-go so you can learn extremely fast. If you guys have any questions about this, just comment down below or DM me on Instagram. And thank you guys for watching my full beginner how to wheelie tutorial. And make sure you guys do subscribe, because I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of summer. And I have tons of plans to keep pumping out sick Supermoto content like this video.